Good afternoon. Welcome to the 1,310-acre campus of South Carolina's Governor's School for Agriculture at John Howe. If you've not yet visited our campus, you are at the historical dairy barn, the main campus, and the remainder of the property sits behind you. Our students, faculty, and staff are honored that you all have joined us for this monumental occasion. December 8th, 2020 is a cold but great day for all South Carolinians, and especially McCormick County. In the spirit of the upcoming holidays, I would like to talk to you about the practice of giving gifts and how they last generations. Dr. John Howe, a French immigrant to Charleston, then here, left an expansive gift to the state of South Carolina through his will in 1797 upon his passing. To put that in perspective, that is only 9 years after South Carolina became a state. This amazing gift that you see around you was given to the people of South Carolina to create, in his words, an agricultural seminary for 12 poor boys and 12 poor girls from South Carolina. He obviously didn't think his dream would grow much more than 24 students that he originally planned for. For 223 years, this school has taught thousands of young citizens from South Carolina agricultural science, home economics, and citizenship, all while living here in a beautiful homes that our state generously provided to them. Most students throughout the early years did not choose to come here, but left here with a devotion to this school like no other. Our alumni chapter is a testament to that. The major difference now is our students choose to come here based on their interest in studying agriculture and forestry. This school is not only a gift to our students, it's a gift to the agriculture, forestry, and natural resources industries of South Carolina. Investing in this school is a testament to the General Assembly's support of agriculture, the Palmetto State's #1 industry. Our students have not yet graduated and are already being recruited from agricultural companies who are in dire need of employees. Governor McMaster, through you and the support of the Senate and the House, you have renewed a 223-year-old dream of one of this region's first European settlers. Lethe, as Dr. Howe called this farm, is now home to the only agricultural education school in the country. South Carolina is now a trailblazer for other states and have been approached from representatives as far away as Hawaii about how our school is ran. We jokingly say if they ask us to come present in Honolulu, I'll make sure to invite the governor and Miss Peggy. We simply want to make you all proud. Our students make us proud each and every day, and we want South Carolina taxpayers to see their return on investment when these young people become our next generation of agriculturalists. In closing, there are literally hundreds of people that deserve a thank you for making this happen. I could not begin thanking the individuals by name. I will instead recognize groups of people who collectively made this dream come true. Those who conducted the feasibility study in 2018 that found this idea would work successfully. Those who worked here in the interim, rebuilding the school from staff to facilities. Those who advocated and lobbied for us in Columbia. Those who are currently employed here. You are commended for taking a risky career move to come to an unproven school. Our rock star Aggie students, who I feel like are my own children. Thank you for being courageous and deciding to further your passion at a brand new school. Those who have worked from Columbia offices helping to remodel this campus and help organize our finances. Our amazing school board of trustees who have our students' best interests at heart. Our all-new foundation board members who were beyond ready to raise money for our students. The citizens of South Carolina, McCormick County Chamber of Commerce, McCormick County Council and Town Councils, the generous citizens of Savannah Lakes Village, Clemson University, South Carolina State, and Piedmont Technical College, the Forestry Association, the Department of Agriculture, Farm Bureau, the Audubon Society, the Department of Education for all the advice and assistance, especially as we designed our blended learning curriculum and CATE funding. The General Assembly who graciously voted all yes on every single vote as this bill matriculated through the process. There was not one nay vote. A special thank you to the several legislators who are always a phone call or a text away. You are appreciated. Finally, Governor McMaster, thank you for all you do for South Carolina and her citizens. In a world of COVID and so many unknowns, our state has continued to flourish under your leadership. Thank you for taking your time to travel to rural McCormick County to sign this historical bill today. Here is to another 223 years of educating South Carolinians here at South Carolina's Governor School for Agriculture. I would now like to turn the podium over to the Honorable Henry McMaster, the 117th Governor of the great state of South Carolina.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim Cowan. It is a pleasure to be here. What a beautiful day. It's really, I wonder what Dr. Howe was thinking when he started this, because his vision is enabling us to see a long, long way. And there are a lot of people that I'd like to thank for making this happen. We have a number of members of the General Assembly here, and this took, as Tim McCowan said, all positive votes. But here are some of those that led the way. I'll call their names, and I believe they're all here. If they could hold up their hand or otherwise signify where you are, because you probably can't recognize you with these masks on. There's Senator Danny Verdon, Senator Billy Garrett, Senator Shane Massey, Senator Gerald Malloy, Senator and President Harvey Peeler, Senator Tom Young. Also in the House, Representatives Bill Hickson, Randy Ligon, Patrick Hayden, Ann Parks, Doug Gilliam, and J.A. Moore, who's brand new. Please give them a round of applause. And I need to say those who really made this happen were two people in particular. One is Dr. Sharon Wall, who is the former superintendent, who brought this to everyone's attention and convinced everyone that this place needed to live and needed to prosper. And without her perseverance, we would not be here today. Also, Commissioner of Agriculture Hugh Weathers is a remarkable leader. There's not a finer commissioner or secretary of agriculture in the United States. And his vision as well, coupled with her determination, coupled with the support of the General Assembly and the work of a lot of people, and the vision of Dr. John Howe all those years ago, have brought us to where we are today. Just a couple of quick points before I ask Commissioner Weathers to come up. A couple of months ago, we were in Hampton County, where we announced the opening of the groundbreaking from the Agriculture Technology Campus in Hampton County. It's 1,000 acres, a $314 million investment by Lidestri Food and Drink, the GM Opportunity Fund, 3 food and packaging firms, and they are going to put in 150,000 square feet of distribution center, and they have, I guess you would call them greenhouses, and in there they're going to raise fruits and vegetables year-round using aquaponics. Now this is the future we're talking about, and they are doing that in Hampton County. But one reason they came and invested all of that money in Hampton County is because of what we're doing here today. When they heard of the vision, the foresight, the innovation, and the determination and the potential of this place where we stand now, that was one of their major deciding factors in doing what they did in Hampton County. So I'm here to tell you that's the way it works. It's collaboration, communication, and cooperation. We got more talent in South Carolina than I believe than any other place. It was General Mark Clark who said after World War II, when he was the president of the Citadel, he said there's more patriotism in South Carolina per square inch than any other place in the world. And he'd been all over the world. And I think that patriotism, that loyalty, that determination, and the things that have made South Carolina such a great place are all expressed and reflected in what we're doing today. I don't think we can calculate the great good that is going to come from this place where we are today. The future is arriving fast. We're going to educate our young people in the techniques, the knowledge of the future for what is coming. We're in a fierce competition with the other sunny states, and it is a competition that we will win because of what you see today. Always tell the children, South Carolina is the best place in the world to live, grow up, work, and live and raise a family. And now, one of the prime movers in this wonderful celebration today, Commissioner Hugh Weathers.
Thank you, Governor. As he said, it is a beautiful day to be out here. You know, what we're talking about really is tying our past to the present and to the future, because no better example than what Dr. Howe left us and began 200 plus years ago. Well, agriculture is the same. In South Carolina, I believe it is agriculture that ties us to our past, to our present, but more importantly, where are we going in the future? And that's really one of the things we're celebrating here today. As the governor said, South Carolina agriculture is changing. While we have many multi-generations of farm families, Senator Peeler's, mine, Patrick Hedden, all part of this industry, we have new folks coming to be a part of this industry, the Agriculture Technology Campus that was referred to. I can tell you that the principals of those companies have already been to Howe to talk about partnering for a training program to supply the expertise that will be needed to make that operation a success. So today's agriculture, agribusiness, the largest industry in South Carolina, with agriculture and forestry combined for a nearly $50 billion impact on our economy every year. Where can it go? Well, it can go to heights that we might not recognize today if we continue to persevere, if we continue to operate as South Carolina does, and that is by working together and trusting each other to do our part. We do a lot of things on behalf of agriculture that reflects those partnerships. The Department of Agriculture works with Clemson University on the Commissioner School for Agriculture to find those students across South Carolina to get them an initial interest in the industry, and then they may find their way to Howe for a full-time high school academic experience. We do farm-to-school programs to get the younger kids really to know that their food does not come from a grocery store. It comes from a farm, one of our 25,000 farms around the state. So all of these things are focused on the future of South Carolina, the future of agriculture, and really why this day is so meaningful to me. I have been here on campus several times in the last few years to know what it can do to be a part of training new leadership for South Carolina agriculture, new participants in our industry to help this industry grow to heights that we don't recognize. A few years back, I came to Howe to speak to a local soil and water conservation. This might have been what I would call one of the low points in the last 10 years of the operation, and I really, after looking at it, I was a little discouraged to see where it might be going. But to come back just a few years later with the leadership that was really motivated to make things happen, and then the support that was coming from Columbia, from the Governor's Office, General Assembly, Department of Agriculture, Clemson, you name it, all pulling together, it really means a lot to me personally to see what's happening today. So I'm excited. I'm always excited about the future of South Carolina agriculture, but with bringing on a vital component for education like the Governor's School here at Howe, it just means the world. So the future is bright for South Carolina, especially with events like we're having today. Again, we talk about partnerships, and one of the main drivers of that partnership to make today possible, one of the chief proponents of the legislation that made all this possible is Senator Gerald Malloy from Darlington, another good rural South Carolinian. Let me introduce Senator Malloy.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gerald Malloy. I'm from Hartsville, South Carolina. It's about 3 hours from here. And it is the home of the Governor's School of Science and Math, which has been in Hartsville since 1988. As I was driving in here today, I was looking at the rural area similar to the rural area where I grew up on a 2-mule farm, where I still understand what G and Haw and get up on that balk means. And what it shows us is that how far we progress. And I go back and I think about my dad, who grew up after his mom passed in childbirth with him, whenever he was growing up basically alone. And so I started thinking about what happened with Dr. John De La Howe when he was coming in, and said how he established the school and how we would grow to end up making it into what it is today. And so back in Hartsville, I've served on the board for the last 18 years, but I've been involved with the board of the Governor School of Science and Math for about 30 years. And so during the year in the General Assembly, we understood that there were some issues that we had to end up working with as far as the apparatus and the structure for setting up a school. And the great minds of the president and Dr. Wall and others came in to end up petitioning for the school. And I'll be remiss if I didn't mention again our president of the Senate, Harvey Peeler, who was one of the champions of education, Senator Shane Massey, who told me last night that he is right across the road from John De La Howe. And I was talking to them about it. And then Danny Verdon and Tom Young and new Senator Mr. Garrett, who has always been supportive of education. It is no small feat when you have in the General Assembly of the 124 members in the House and the 46 members in the Senate, where there are no votes for a piece of legislation. It is something beholden in South Carolina, where people have taken the P out of partisanship and political and put it into people. And what we've done is that we have put today into children. And so we send a message to our children and the people that are here is that it's never too late to be what you could have been. And it's never too early to start. And that's the message that we send to our children. So we get a chance now to have the 3rd governor school in the state of South Carolina, and governor gets a chance to be done on your watch. And it is a great thing. The seeds that will be planted from this school here are the seeds that you will see later on as leaders here in our state. And so it's a responsibility that we have as those that are legislators and those that are serving. And so what we know is this, is that the moral test of a government is what we do, is how we serve, is how we treat those that are our seniors. They're in the twilight of their lives. Those that are in the shadows of their lives, those that may have mental illnesses, those that may be incarcerated, those kinds of things. But those that are in the dawn of their lives are the ones that we can have a great effect upon, and this is the children. And that sits right in the mission of Dr. John De La Howe. And so what we have is that his legacy lives on. It lives on for the people. And what we know is that the children that go here, they will be successful. And I will leave with a comment on success as it relates to our children. It is the exercise and development of qualities of character. Not just who you are, but what you are. And not just what you are, but how well you serve. The last message can be given to all of us as to how well we serve. So when we serve, no matter what label we wear, make certain that we do it in light of what's best for our community, what's best for South Carolina, and it starts with our children. And we can say, without a shadow of a doubt, with those that supported this legislation, those are the orchestrators of this legislation, the work that has been done here today, the work that will be done with the children that are here, the way that we will watch this grow, we will be sending a message to them, is a message of service and building of our state. So thank you, and thank you for the honor of being able to serve in the South Carolina Senate. And without further ado, I have a great pleasure of introducing to you Dr. Tom Dobbins, who is the director of the Clemson Cooperative Extension. And obviously, Dr. Dobbins and I have a relationship because he's worked very strong with one of our former colleagues, Senator Clemente Pinckney. His family, Senator Pinckney, was slain down at Mother Emanuel, but his family has set up a program over at Clemson, and Dr. Dobbins has really driven that program. So Dr. Dobbins, thank you for that. And without further ado, I introduce to you Dr. Tom Dobbins.
Thank you very much, Senator Malloy. And Governor, thank you for your outstanding leadership in the state of South Carolina through this pandemic and having the sight and foresight to have this. And Commissioner Weathers, thank you for being the commissioner of the #1 economic engine in South Carolina, and that's agriculture. And you know, coming from Clemson University, and if you go up the same river channel, right up 65 miles, TK, right up the river, is the same site or same vision that Thomas Green Clemson had for our higher learning of seminary. And it would have been amazing if these two, if Dr. John Della Howe, his site and his vision for K through 12 Billy Keels, how we can put that together to make an lasting approach on agriculture in the state of South Carolina, and it's right up from the river from where we have. It's what agriculture has. And when we started Clemson University, or when they started Clemson College, Governor, the South Carolina General Assembly had the same problems they have here. They kind of had to figure out how to fund two major universities in one state because we were a poor state. But back then it took courage and backbone from our General Assembly to make a decision to invest in the people and into the children and to the youth of South Carolina. And they did so, and they created Clemson College. Today, the same General Assembly, or same type of General Assembly, youth had to have a lot of courage and backbone to take this giant leap to invest into these young people right here to join us together to make something that is outstanding. And I think that Dr. Della Howe and Thomas Green Clemson are looking down upon us right now and smiling and saying the circle has been completed. In our job at Clemson and working with the Extension Service and going through and trying to make sure, Commissioner Weathers, that our farmers have and we keep the family on the farm, which is getting harder and harder as we move through, it brings me great pride to know that here at John Della Howe, South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture, that you will be putting to those young people the skills that they need to be successful. When we talk about bringing industry into South Carolina, we understand one thing. Industry is telling us, y'all are not teaching in college what our students need. They need real life, hands-on experience. And Dr. Wall, thank you for your tenacity, bulldoggedness, tigerness, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm sure, Senator Massey, you understand what I'm talking about, for making sure that our rural kids in South Carolina have an opportunity, one of the greatest opportunities in the world, to come here to McCormick, South Carolina, who would ever thought that, and get a world-class education that will provide them well not only here, but when they go out into the real world and make a statement in the real world. And that brings me to the third point that I want to make here is when you go back and look at the tremendous success of former graduates of John Della Howe and the mark that they made on McCormick County, Abbeville County, the state, and the nation, it's amazing. And now for John Della Howe to be rebirthed as our South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture, for you young people to make the same mark on the nation. You have a challenge in front of you. You cannot sit back and take this for granted. The burden of the success of this school is squarely on your shoulders. You have to go forward, and you have to provide the leadership and the tenacity to make sure that what you learn here today is not wasted, so that people behind you, generations behind you, can have that same opportunity. And as far as Clemson University, our ability to partner with you in FFA and 4-H, where our young people learn respect, responsibility, and leadership is what's needed in the state of South Carolina right now and across our nation. And cooperation. I think our nation could do a lot with cooperation right now and getting along and knowing how to get along. But your hands-on experiences that you will have here and learn here are extraordinary. So on behalf of Clemson University, I want to thank the Board of Trustees here at John Della Howe, Dr. Wall, for your vision and for moving us forward. And now at this time, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce a young man who has dairy background, and I always like dairy people. Commissioner Weathers is a dairy person. The President of the Senate's a dairy person. I'm a dairy person. It's just something about us dairy people. And Fred Raines over there is a dairy person. I really like that, but Senator Harvey Peeler is a Clemson man, but first and foremost, he's an agriculturalist. And he's a lover of South Carolina and the people of South Carolina. Here's a man who has dedicated his entire career to improving the lives of those in South Carolina. And he has given steadfast leadership in the Senate to make sure this happens. Senator Harvey Peeler.
Thank you, Doctor. Governor, my fellow elected officials, ladies and gentlemen, take it from me. South Carolina agribusiness is good business. I've wanted to be a milkman all my life. Commissioner Weathers, that's all I've ever wanted to do, is be a milkman. I can remember my senior year at Gaffney High School when I was notified that Clemson University had accepted me as a student. I was so excited. A couple of my classmates said, Harvey, why are you so excited? Why are you excited about going to that Cal College? I said, I'm going to major in dairy science. Why else? But this is all I've ever wanted to do. Being a farmer, being in agriculture and agribusiness, the three tangible necessities of life: food, clothing, and shelter. A farmer feeds you, a farmer clothes you, a farmer puts a roof over your head. I don't know if y'all have heard this, I hope you have. Paul Harvey's rendition of On the Eighth Day, God Made a Farmer. That gives me chills every time I hear that. On the eighth day, God made a farmer. Well, today, Governor, with your stroke of the pen, with the Governor's School for Agriculture at John Della Howe, it will take that farmer that God made and make the South Carolina farmer stronger and better and more productive. So, Governor, if you will take your pen,
I'll do it.
and make our farmers stronger.
You can take a picture, y'all, so come on.
Oh, well, okay.
Y'all can fill in behind.
Move up here.
Take them off and don't breathe. Okay. Thank you. Good question. No, thank you. Any questions from anyone for anybody? All right. We good. Y'all thank you.